Welcome to WagerTalk Today, the gold standard of sports betting shows where we talk the talk and walk the walk. Got a busy Monday here. We got MLB. We're going to talk a little bit about NBA and how the playoffs have set up. We got playing games and such. We got props. We got Steam. We got a lot of stuff going on. So, Dan, congratulations again. Your dream lacrosse season continues. I don't know. I don't have any more. I don't have any more compliments for you. It just another sweep in lacrosse plays. What you're doing truly is outstanding. So congratulations.
Well, we've been super selective. We got a great message from a listener and a subscriber. You know, he was very happy with us cashing again. But yeah, I wish, like our man Big Steve over at Picks and Parlays, he brings out his broom. We need to bring out the broom because it's kind of what we've done, Andy. It's we have 2 lacrosse plays over the weekend, and then we talk on Monday that we swept again. But one thing that we can say, Andy, is like the number 1 team in NCAA men's lacrosse has lost 4 times. We have been on the winning side of that 4 times. So we've seen it at the top really well. We've been super selective, but Andy, happy to come on with a little pep in our step and cash in another weekend for the folks, man.
That's what's amazing is you've picked against the number 1 team. And
4 times.
4 times. That's pretty amazing, man.
We had a 22-year streak of Virginia not beating Duke in the regular season. We were on Virginia beating Duke this season. So, like, Andy, we have not only gone on a terrific run here, and again, folks, we're going to knock on wood. We're just going to keep doing our job and keep doing what we aim. But it's so funny because would you ever think, Andy, leading off on Wager Talk Today, we would have someone saying, hey, I need an end of season lacrosse package? That's what we've been able to do for folks in tennis, in lacrosse, so we're going to get into what we have coming. But on the show today, folks, don't worry. We still got free plays. We know that's what you love. You need the picks. Well, Yanni's going to let you know where has the steam been going, what's he been seeing. Is it a slow Monday post-Masters? Are people firing because there's a huge MLB board? What's the calm before the storm in NBA action? All the movers and shakers. Yanni the Greek is going to break that down for you here. And usually on Mondays, we talk to Bill Krakenberger. The man is traveling. He was at the Masters. He has to tear up the Aberg ticket, and dear God, that could have been torn up rather early, Andy. So no crack on the show today, but Steve Merrill is going to be here. He's got a 2-pack for you in MLB. Andy and I are going to debut something we want to call the Wager Talk Today Play of the Day. So we got something for you, you free pick lovers. Andy will take you all around the world, all that and more, Andy. A jam-packed Monday, even without our man Krakenberger.
Well, let's bring on Yanni because Yanni's playing with Jackpot.
Yeah. We need the live look of Jackpot.
You're going to have to get down, little mouse. Yeah, we're just in a celebratory mood here. He's got chicken breasts and steaks waiting for him. He's in a good mood today.
Good weekend.
Yeah, great weekend. Great weekend. What a difference a week makes. What a difference a week makes.
Kidding.
And this is what I love. Honestly, this is what I love about this market. And it's why I love math from a kid, because we're all on a level playing field. Like with school English, I was way behind. Like when I got to school, I knew 5 or 6 words. We spoke Greek in my house. So I knew yes, maybe. I knew no, maybe. That's it. I knew like 5 or 6 words. So I was at a huge disadvantage compared to those other kids that were speaking English from birth with their parents. But with math, we all speak the same language, so it didn't matter. And that's what I love about the sports betting market. It's even. If you could find an edge, you can beat it. It doesn't matter what language you speak, what race you are, what religion you are, what education level you have. If you could find an edge, you could crack this market and continue to grind a profit. It doesn't matter where you're from, who you know, and that's the beauty of it. And if you have confidence in that, the numbers will not lie at the end of the day. And that's what I love, that when you get to math, there's an answer. It isn't about like opinion. There's no, whether it's subjective or objective, we know there's a bottom line. And the same thing with markets. We all have opinions, but at the end of the day, we know who's right by the results. when in doubt, you zoom out and you find out very easily whether someone is profitable or not profitable. Because in the short term, you're going to get confused. You're going to get fooled. You'll be easily fooled. I was easily fooled. You'll see a hot streak and all of a sudden draw conclusions that this person may have an edge, and all I have to do is piggyback that stuff and it'll be easy. But then you find out that's just not the case more times than not. And that's just how life ends up turning out with most things, just not as easy as they appear. But with that said, if you have an edge, again, it will materialize. And after a week or so of struggling, all of a sudden the clouds part, the sunshine comes through, and with a big enough sample size, the numbers do not lie. So it's been a great week or so. Now sitting number 2 in profit for Major League Baseball. The power rankings are in effect. I now have them ready for NHL. The playoffs are around the corner. We just put in an NHL future at 17-1. NBA, my power ratings were just sent to me this morning. We are ready for those playoffs. And like I said, the MLB power ratings are now in play, and they've been producing for us. Staying selective, but they've been producing. So that's a long way of going to it's been a good week. And I appreciate my partners that have jumped on board with me for the entire year. Just keep doing what I said from day one. Manage your risk like I urged you. And when the dust settles and December 31st rolls around, you will have turned a profit, and all of this will have been worth it. Just survive the negative stretches and we will be in profit. That's the bottom line.
Well, I mean, you were on Olberg, correct? In the main event?
Yes, sir. The biggest bet I've made all year in UFC. In fact, I closed out a 6-leg parlay that's been sitting there since the first week of March Madness, where I had 5 teams and 1 left. And I said, I'm going to wait till I feel gold to put it in there. And I did it with Olberg, where I had already maxed bet him, but then I added him to that parlay where I had like the biggest bet I have made all year in MMA. So it turned out well. That was like luck. That's one where the gambling gods said, all those bad beats, Yanni, remember that time you prayed to me and said, if this field goal goes through, you will never place another bet. Or if this field goal goes through, you will, give $100 to a child's, whatever. And the gambling gods paid us back on, because Olberg with 1 leg knocking out Yuri was incredible. Great night of fights.
It's just so funny. Like Olberg, he finally makes it to the top, the pinnacle. Yeah, he wins. He wins the belt and is probably going to have to vacate it. He's not going to be back for a year.
Exactly.
He wins the belt, immediately has to give it up. So that sucks. Well, let's do some Steam, and then we'll talk about some other things. Let's start with Steam, and then we'll get into some of your power rankings.
Yeah, because there's not a lot. It's a slow day. It's kind of like everybody's awaiting the Mars playoffs to start and kind of the end of the NHL. Here's what we got real quickly in NHL, because it's a big board. Just 3 sides for you. 51 San Jose plus 135, Philadelphia minus 110 and minus 115, and the big one was Dallas. They laid 155 last night in the accounts. I woke up to it and I saw minus 170 and minus 180 in those accounts. So not sure what's going on with their opponent. In Major League Baseball, 902 Phillies minus 165, 903 Washington plus the 190 and over 7, 907 under 9 in the Mets Dodgers laying 130. Houston plus 150 and 912 New York Yankees. But here's what I'm seeing. And here's what you got to pay attention to, because I'm seeing it with the Dodgers and I'm seeing it with the Yankees. And there'll probably be 1 or other 2 teams that are getting this same exact action. They're betting the first opener immediately. So whichever book goes to market first, they're betting it immediately. And with one of my credit shops, they put out kind of what Bet Online does. So I think they're probably a skin of Bet Online. And right when they put out minus 165, boom, they bet minus 165. But here's what happens later. Later, they have someone else taking plus 170 at Polymarket, because now they have Kashi, they got Polymarket, they have those prediction markets that sometimes are way off. And there's enough liquidity in there now that they could actually use them to scout that action. So they're finding stuff like that all day by betting these public teams. They know the bettors are going to take the Yankees. They know the bettors are going to take the Dodgers. And as a bookmaker, you can only absorb so much risk before you're forced to move that line. So even if you know that the Yankees shouldn't be minus 175, shouldn't be minus 180, you have no choice because you're getting nonstop money coming in 165, 170. The public's betting them 175, 180. They're tied into all these parlays. So you have no choice but to bump them up, and that opens an easy scout for the betting syndicate. So now all of a sudden, you laid 165 to win 100 on the Yankees, and then you laid 100 to win 170 over here. So now you've bet $265 and you got a chance to make $15 free off of that, whatever that is, a couple percentage points for nothing, for free. And they're doing that nonstop. So be careful drawing some conclusions. And even if you see take back the other way later in the day, like don't assume that was a setup or that there's a bunch of steam coming in the other way, because a lot of times that's just a scout that was set up from earlier, because that's the beauty of money lines. But if you could, narrow those down and not fall for those, you'll be able to isolate those moves that really are legit. And again, that's the other beauty. They stop betting. They get enough down. And then we still have EV to take advantage of. And in baseball, with the money line, it's even easier than with point spreads because you could move by pennies, where with point spreads, you got to move by half points. You can't move by 1/10 of a point, 1/4 of a point. But with money lines, you can move by a penny and adjust the line. And that's where the big advantages come in.
So basically, be really careful with line moves.
Drawing conclusions off them. Yep,
yeah.
Exactly. Especially in baseball. Sides and stuff, totals, you could be more, they're betting a 9 under 9 down. It's usually a sharp play. But with the size, just because they're laying minus 165 on a favorite, don't be too confident. But if you see it on the heavy chalk, like if you see them lay minus 400, let's say on fights, Andy, or even in baseball, you see them laying minus 200s, 220s, 240s, those aren't scalpable. Because if you look, the take back is really hard to get a scalp. Like once you get into those big money lines, you need a huge adjustment to be scalped. Like you can't have it go from minus 400 to minus 450 and there be a scalp there. But if you go from, minus 110 to minus 140, that's just, a 30-cent move. You have a huge scalp. But you go from minus 500 to minus 530. There's no scalp available. You got to go from like minus 500 to minus 800 to have a scalp at those numbers possible. So those you could trust a lot more in those markets. That's why I tell bettors when it comes to like here, right around the corner, the NFL draft, you see them laying minus 450. Don't worry. Nobody's coming back and scalping that. That's not getting the minus 2,000 to where they're going to scalp that. That's legit. There's conviction there that line should probably be minus 550. So that's where you're able to take advantage as a piggybacker, kind of like Warren Buffett used to say when he first started out. He used to look for cigar butts, he called them. Those were, he said he would watch the bums, now they're called homeless. And he said he'd see them looking in the trash or on the ground and looking for that one cigar butt or that cigarette butt that still had a hit in it, still had some nicotine, still had some, tobacco in it. And he said he looked for companies with the same, that the institutions juiced what they could out of them, but there was still value there left. There was still some value. And that's how I approach it too. I think we're still able to pick off some of those steam moves, that there's still that last couple drags we could take out of it that's still EV. And with those minus 400s, 500s that you're going to be seeing with the draft coming up, again, I'm not telling you to piggyback those, but what I'm saying is those are legit. Like they're not manipulation. Nobody's scalping minus 500 money lines. There's a lot of conviction behind them.
What are some power rankings that you have? I know you mentioned we got NHL,
Yes.
The playoffs are getting ready to start. So anything you got in any of those sports?
Yes, sir. Let's go. Let me share what I got with you. Let's go NHL first. I'll give you NHL real quickly. There's 4 teams that could win the Stanley Cup. There's 4 teams based on his power ratings. It's Colorado, Carolina, Buffalo, and Tampa Bay. Best teams, Carolina and Colorado. They're 1A and 1B. He would have them at a pick'em. -105, -105. Well, for us, even money. He don't put a vig. Even money. If they were playing on neutral ice, Carolina, Colorado. Behind them is Tampa Bay and Buffalo. Very close behind them. After that, you have Pittsburgh, Dallas, Montreal, Ottawa, Boston. Those are far behind power rating wise. And teams like Ottawa, Montreal, Washington, they had the benefit of a real easy schedule. The gold is Buffalo, Tampa, Colorado, Carolina. I'm pretty confident the NHL Stanley Cup winner will come out of those 4 teams. And the good thing is there's a 7-game series and you don't get the randomness of a 60-minute game. So the cream should rise to the top. I'll tell you now, I did release a future on Buffalo. I gave it out as a 3% at 17-1. I saw 19-1 out there as well, but I also saw 16-1. So I released it at 17-1. And the reason I took Buffalo was because the return on Carolina, Colorado, and Tampa just wasn't as nice. Those are the favorites. You're only getting 3-1 or 4-1. And I just thought with Buffalo, if they could get far, I'll have equity and I should be able to make money. Even though there'll probably be a dog to either of those, I still have enough equity that I could turn a profit. So those are those teams I'm looking at. Now, NBA, I haven't given out a future. I'm working on that this entire night, and my subscribers will get a future tomorrow for the NBA playoffs. But here's what I've narrowed it down to. Right now, based on power ratings, there's 3 teams at the top that are about 2 points from everyone else. And that's San Antonio, Oklahoma City, and Boston. Those 3 teams are at almost 2 points better than everyone else. Heads above all is Oklahoma City, who's about a point and a half better than San Antonio or Boston on a neutral, because there's balance as they come. Them and San Antonio, Oklahoma City, because with Oklahoma City, you have a top 5 offense, top 5 defense. And with San Antonio, you got a top 5 offense, top 10 defense. The weakness for both those teams is strength of schedule. Oklahoma City, 27th, and Boston, 29th. San Antonio, 21st. All those teams at the top, Oklahoma City, San Antonio, Boston, that I touched on, all had easy schedules. 29th for Boston, 27th for Oklahoma City, 21st for San Antonio. No surprise when you look at the worst teams. Sacramento, 4th toughest schedule. Indiana, 5th toughest schedule. Brooklyn, the toughest schedule. Schedule matters. Strength of schedule matters. New Orleans, 6th. Golden State, 2nd. Like, strength of schedule is just so important. So, yeah, those are the teams I have going into these playoffs that are the strongest. I'm sure everyone knows it. But some of the teams that are, I'll read off right now, whose records aren't top 10, but they are top 10 power rating. Charlotte's a top 10 power rated team with only 44 wins. Atlanta's a top 10 power rated team with only 46 wins. Minnesota's right out of our top 10 with their less than a 50-win team. Now, some of those higher win teams with low power ratings. We'll look at Houston, barely in the top 10. Cleveland, barely in the top 10. Lakers, not in my top 10. The Lakers are not in our top 10. They are barely in our top 15. In fact, Lakers are 11th in offense, 13th in defense, 16th strength of schedule. So Lakers are, again, out of our top 10. So that's some of the NBA as we head in. Again, we all know Oklahoma City's head and shoulders above everyone else. It's a question of, can San Antonio test them in a 7-game series and beat them? I'm not too sure. They have the better offense, but the better defense is with Oklahoma City. The test is going to come out of Boston, Detroit, and New York. It's who's going to win out of those three teams. Boston's definitely better than both Detroit and New York. In fact, even though Detroit's got the better record, Boston would be about a point and a half better favorite on a neutral field. Detroit's more balanced, top 10 offense, top 5 defense, but Boston's got that number 1 defense. Their problem is, can they score? Because they barely cracked our top 20 on the offensive side of the ball. They're barely in the top 20. And that's with the 29th, toughest schedule in all of the NBA. So that's where Detroit or New York does have a shot. But if I had to choose who's going to spoil it for Boston, I would pick Detroit, because New York is the same problem. They can't play defense. I mean, they can't play offense. They're third in defense, like Boston's first. So they're comparable defensively, but not in offense. They're just as bad. So if I had to choose the Eastern team right now, I kind of almost talked myself into it to win the East. I don't know what the odds are on them right now, but I would take Detroit. I would take Detroit to win the East, and I would probably look to San Antonio, because I don't think Denver can beat Oklahoma City. I think the only other team that can pose a problem to Oklahoma City is San Antonio. So if I got a good enough series price on San Antonio or future, I may look to San Antonio. But otherwise, and they did have this tougher strength of schedule too. So I might have talked myself into a bet. So San Antonio, Detroit, that's where I'm looking at as of this morning. Will it change by tonight? We'll see. But right now, San Antonio and Detroit are mine, not sleepers, but I don't think they're the favorite. Maybe Detroit's the favorite with 60 wins, but we know San Antonio is not in the West.
Detroit is not. Celtics are plus 155. Cavs plus 330. Ugh. Plus 450 on the Knicks, and then the Pistons. I would put the Pistons over both of those two.
My man,
trust
all
the
right.
Knicks. I don't
Subscribers
trust
are going to be getting some futures tonight.
Oh yeah, no, I traditionally do pretty well with the spreads on the series,
like the series spreads.
Yeah, the series spreads. We typically do pretty well, and that's the market I look at the most. But do you have Miami Heat and the Hornets are the playing game tomorrow?
Oh yeah,
Blazers and Suns. That'll be a rock fight tomorrow. Someone in the chat has asked about the over in the Heat and the Hornets. Why wouldn't we?
Yeah, I could give you.
We hammer the over.
Here's what I got. We make the line. Yeah, we make it 232. So what's the line? Yeah, we make it over too. Where'd the line open? 227. It went to 228. So yeah, based on our line, the over is the sign. Based on my guys, like I said, his power ratings have it scoring 232, 232 and a half. So yeah, we agree with the over there with my man, Miami Charlotte.
Yeah, I mean the series lines they have out now, minus 600 on the Cavs, plus 425 for the Raptors. Nuggets are minus 350 against the Wolves. Knicks minus 290 against the Hawks, and the Rockets are minus 750 against that Lakers. You mentioned, the 10th in defense, 15th in offense. They're also last in health right now. They're the team missing both of two of their best guys. So it's a little bit of a downer for Lakers. So. We'll touch on NBA a little bit more tomorrow when we get to the day of the games and you have some time. But yeah, tomorrow we'll definitely talk some series and some futures and see if we can get to the window with some of them. So what do you have up for everyone on Monday?
My man. So no package is up because I'm not rushing anything. I promised subscribers that the goal is, if our goals are aligned, I won't disappoint you. And that's to be profitable in 2026 for the year. So I'm looking out for those that partnered up. You'll get plays just like we have a 4% tennis that's going off. I think I even put that out for free. So make sure you go over to WagerTalk.com. We will have premiums in Major League Baseball today and probably the NHL. If I could package up anything with 4%, I will do that. I'm looking for a premium so I could send out the Steam sheet. I just haven't confirmed yet. Again, being selective has paid off over the last 3 and 7 days. We need it to pay off over the last 30 as well. So taking my time, we'll see. There'll be a package up, and tomorrow's $5 Tuesday. We have UFC coming up Saturday, playoffs tomorrow. So jump on board for the week, and that way it's cheaper for you as well. And again, make sure you check every day because I try to share as much free information at WagerTalk.com. That's premium for you guys. And best of luck to both of you. Stay hot in lacrosse, my man. And
I got you. I'll do my best. I'll try and do my job, Yanni. Is
that's it. That's all you can do. That's all you can do.
Best of luck, man. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Thanks, Yanni.
Love it.
Yeah. So for all access clients, if you're not, be prepared. This could be a heavy tennis week for us. There's 4 doubles tournaments. We've already got a 4% play that's up, and I'm looking at some of these lines that are being released, and there's some really bettable doubles teams. So I have a feeling we could have a big week in tennis. So those are the markets that I specialize in, the doubles. So I've already locked in that 4%.
Don't tempt me with a good time, Andy. You tell me it's going to be a big tennis week, and we have weekday lacrosse coming back. I mean, this could be a great day. That buy 3 get 3 free, different all access packages. This could be a good week for WT.buzz/AL.
Yeah, all of our plays are under one blanket. So you get all of my plays, Dan's. Jim hit his NASCAR play yesterday, and we had a really nice week in mixed martial arts. That was much needed. PFL looks like it's going to be it looks like we're back to the old PFL, which means we're going to be betting it a little bit more. We got PFL and UFC.
Telegraph.
Well, last year it was really funky, man. They changed a bunch of things, and the lines got weird, and the matches got weird. But this year feels like the PFL old. So we got some big things coming. So. Let's see. Let's talk about the play of the day, what we're going to do moving forward here. So this stems from someone was asking about, like, let it ride. What can we do? So what we're going to do is every day we're going to do the WagerTalk play of the day. Dan and I will kind of kick some plays around, and we'll settle on one, and we'll just see if we can just see how many of these we can hit. This is basically the LFG WTF segment, but we're just putting it in play of the day. So Dan, you had a play that you liked for this one. So what's the WagerTalk play of the day?
Yeah, and the way that we would attack this is a play that didn't make it for client cards. It's a free play, folks. And if you want to bet it small, what Andy and I are going to aim to do is from Monday to Friday, see if we can't hit 5 straight, right? Little 5-day ladder here for you. People love the ladder challenge. It's so clickable and whatnot. So we'll start it off with one that I know at least my Phillies guy isn't going to like this one. My friend Eric here in the chat. I know that it's a little warm in Philly. I know that the wind is blowing out. But one thing you cannot do, a lot of people are talking about a Philly parlay, put the Flyers with the Phillies. Pump the brakes, folks. What Philadelphia wants to do is break your heart. But the way that I would attack this game actually is kind of zig while everyone else is zagging. I'm betting under the 8, and Andy, there's actually 8.5s out there. So we are fading the marketplaces. We are going under 8. Obviously, I would prefer that 8.5, but if you want to stay away from the juice for your little ladder here, since we're betting it a little bit smaller, I'm all for it. Yeah, sure. Like the Phillies, they can get hits, Andy. But both the Phillies and the Cubs are tied right now with 117 runners left in scoring position. So yes, they get hits. Yes, they get on base, but that's not converting quite to teams stacking up runs in these. So the Phillies have only scored in 3 of their last 45 innings, Andy. They've been shut out twice while losing 4 of their last 5 games. This offense just is not converting right now. And in Chicago, they're coming to town. They just got a 7-6 win after they were trailing 5 runs. But other than that, 3 runs combined while losing the first of their 2 games. And they avoided the sweep against the Pirates. But it's not like they faced any phenom pitching against the Pirates there. So for me, it's 2 teams that, sure, they might get hits here today. You may sweat this one a little bit. But teams that are just leaving players in running scoring positions, even early on in the year, Andy, I think that is something that we can bet on and think that will continue. Why? Because it's what the Phillies have done. It's what this team has done year after year. They leave players stranded and they hit the big solo home runs. They had 3 of them yesterday. They still lost the game, Andy. So Sanchez, he's coming off a bad outing. Assad is actually only a second start of the season, and he's not as familiar, but great outing when he played. I think it was last week. Tuesday was the last time he was in scoreless 5 2/3 innings. So we like the pitching matchup. So you know what? I don't care if the wind's blowing or not, Andy. We're going under the 8 or 8.5. That'll be the play of the day.
All right, let's take a look here at some of the streaks and some of the weather. This is another thing that we want to start doing now that we're getting to the teeth of the baseball season.
Oh yeah.
We'll start with the weather. We don't see any bad weather. Diamondbacks, Orioles, little bit of wind. Again, Cubs, Phillies. I mean, it's some, but I don't know. Is that enough to? I think we overreact to the wind a little bit.
For sure. I like the cities I care about winded. If this was in Chicago and we were talking about the wind blowing out, okay. You know what I mean? Like Citizens Bank Park is already going to be a hitter friendly. So a little breeze out to the outfield doesn't change it for me.
Yeah. So, and to your point here, if we're looking at the over or unders, I mean, your Phillies are 4-1 to the under in the last 5 games. So just, them not scoring runs is showing that these unders have been the way to go. If we're looking at streaks that maybe a little bit unsustainable here, you got the Reds and the Angels both 5-0 in their last 5 games to the over. Let's see if anybody's really, Angels and Nationals both 8-2 to the over, and nothing really too much on the unders. We can take a look here at the run line as well. I know the Rockies were the fun team that were covering the run line, and they've absolutely regressed. They're now 10-6. The Diamondbacks, like we said, exactly. The Diamondbacks 13-3 to the run line. On the flip side, there's your Phillies again, 3-12 covering run lines. So those are some teams that are on some streaks that you might want to take a look at. So
I like that, Andy.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's bring in Steve Merrill, and we got to talk about some things. And then we had a question about UFC. I'll do UFC after this. We'll do all around the world, talk a little Masters and stuff like that. But Steve, happy Monday. How are you?
I wore my green jacket. Yeah, it's funny.
I was about to say, your Masters green looks good there.
I got my Masters short sleeve. So, Andy, I was going to wear that shirt, and I didn't think you were wearing it, but I didn't wear it because the way I'm positioned, I always get the swoosh, as you guys know. So it looks like a Nike shirt instead of a WagerTalk shirt. So I put green on. Actually, not because of the Masters. Didn't think of that till you said it, but it was a good call. We could have sandwiched Dan once again with the WagerTalk golf shirts, and he gets so nervous when we do that.
How you been, man? Are you getting ready for NBA playoffs?
Yeah, this past week was kind of the quiet week, right? With college basketball wrapped up on Monday. The NBA postseason starts tomorrow on Tuesday. It was the one little quiet week snuck in during the basketball season. Also, a lot of teams were resting guys down the stretch. There's always a little bit of uncertainty. But, hey, it's go time now. The one thing about the NBA that's tricky, and by the way, I've had a fantastic NBA season, up over 80 units from my clients. Ranked number 1 in best bet profit this year at WagerTalk, number 1 all time still at WagerTalk in the NBA. So I love the regular season, but I love the playoffs even more because you don't have to start worrying about load management. That's always the thing that's so tricky during the regular season. And the other reason I love the NBA postseason is because the same situations that worked for the past 30 years continue to work. I started back in 1996, and I've loved the NBA playoffs ever since. The 7-game series, the ebb and flow. Don't tell Teddy Covers the zigzag still works in select spots. The modified zigzag, you just get by. And player props, Andy, you're a props guy. I'm going to talk about those now in my videos. I'll be doing every NBA playoff game every day, video form, just like I did for the NCAA tournament, the NFL playoffs, the college bowls, and we will be digging more into props now. I love these 7-game series, and what I look for, and I'd love to get your thoughts as well, is, guys that maybe overachieved or underachieved, and you kind of take the contrarian view in the next game because, first of all, the other team focuses on a guy that overachieved. They don't focus on a guy that underachieved. And I always like to look at minutes, shot attempts. Maybe somebody had a great shooting night or vice versa, a really bad shooting night. And I think props are really good in the NBA playoffs now, which is something we did not have when I began 30 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, props really, it's the same thing. I use the same formulas. The only difference is you have to be careful. I love playing some of the bench guys on their props in the regular season. The lines are low. If you get a blowout, they play in the fourth quarter. Unfortunately, those guys are just not going to be playing the minutes. Right. I mean, Wemby's minutes are going to go up in the playoffs. Yep. That's just a fact. They saved him. So you're getting some of these guys that, the stars. I mean, Jalen Brunson, my God, how many minutes has he played each game the last couple of years for the Knicks? So I think there's some value in looking at some of the starters because they're just going to be out there more. They're just going to have a few more shot attempts and assists and rebounds. And meanwhile, the bench guys, they're not going to play as much unless the game gets completely out of hand. So
It's an excellent point, Andy, because one thing I've said the last couple of years when I do all the playoff games is that we don't fade superstars. It's something that came up with the last couple of years, and it goes to exactly what you're talking about. You don't want to, fade. I mean, obviously Doncic's not played, but you don't want to fade a Jokic. You don't want to fade a Brunson. LeBron in his heyday. So I'm always very cautious. I'm kind of looking for reasons to play overs. I know that's kind of a public thing, but I'm looking for reasons to play overs on really good players. And just because they've had a couple breakout games, I'm not looking to necessarily fade them to the under. I usually just kind of stay away. And you bring up an excellent point that coincides with that logic, is that their numbers are going to probably be better in the postseason just because they are going to get minutes and more shot attempts in these critical games now.
Well, Steve, there will be plenty of time for Steve to be breaking down some NBA action because, as he mentioned, hit that subscribe button, folks, because he is doing every single game. You finally got a break, Steve, and what do you say? No, the people need me. Steve Merrill, 2 R's, 1 L, the man of the people. He's got every NBA
the non-all-star break for my voice, Dan, for the past week.
Yeah.
And, speaking of which, are you free in about an hour to knock out the Tuesday games? The people want to know.
Steve, I got your back, buddy. Let's get it going. You can't do every game if you don't start in the play-in. So don't worry, Steve.
That's a great point. I think I mentioned this last year, Dan, because I got real technical. It's technically not the NBA playoffs tomorrow on Wednesday. But it is the NBA postseason. Yes. All these games are postseason games, but they're not all playoff games. See what I did there?
See, not all playoff games are created equal.
Right. Not all postseason games are playoff games. That's where I was going with that.
I like it.
Andy, like it. Well, I blew Andy's mind.
Play in, playoff, postseason, it don't matter. Steve's breaking it down right here on the channel, folks. Hit that subscribe button while you're hanging out. Hit that like. Steve, let's talk diamond here, brother, because in this matchup that we have here for you, Nationals and Pirates, basically the question is, Washington, they get the sweep over the weekend, right? Something they haven't done since 2011 against Milwaukee. First time they've done it on the road since 2006. So they've already made history. But now it's, do they win 4 in a row here? Do the Washington Nationals? Well, the odds makers say probably not, because we're seeing north of $2 here for Skeens and the Pirates. Do we have a live dog situation? Or are you just going to try and take the bullpens out of this? Say, hey, let's look for some strikeouts from Skeens early. How are you looking to bet a red-hot Nationals team that is now near a $2 underdog here on the road against the Pirates?
$2. I want my $2. Not Friday, today. Better Off Dead. Great 80s movie.
Great
if you
reference.
like Better Off Dead, comment below. I read the comments. I reply back. What are your other favorite 80s movies? One Crazy Summer is actually better than Better Off Dead, another very underrated John Cusack movie. And, of course, he's in 16 Candles, which is perhaps the greatest movie of all time. Washington Nationals, red hot. My Washington Nationals, because they've won 3 straight in Milwaukee, as Dan said. So now they're my Nationals once again. But I also love Paul Skeens. He might be my favorite player. He's just so professional. He's so good. And he's on such a mediocre team. But when he pitches, they're a pretty good team. And they're having a decent season, 9-6 overall, 7-3 their last 10. So, normally I'm not looking to lay over $2 against a team that's won 3 in a row. I do believe in offensive momentum in baseball. I like to look at offensive momentum. And the Nationals did hit the ball well in Milwaukee. They had 31 hits in those 3 wins. And, of course, 18 runs Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But I'm also not looking to fade Skeens. It's a quick turnaround. They had to come back from Chicago, no rest situation. It's not ideal. You got a hot offense against a really good pitcher. That kind of negates it. You got a hot underdog against a really good starter. All things equal, though, I would still rather have Paul Skeens. Overall in the season, I think his ERA is like 5.3. Last year, 1.97. The year before, 1.96. We talk about NBA postseason player props, how you look for good guys to bounce back. I don't think anything is wrong with Skeens. Not going to read too much into it, mainly because he had that really bad outing against the Mets to start the season, in which he gave up 5 earned runs in less than 1 inning. He has since given up 2 earned runs in his last 11-plus innings, and he's had 11 strikeouts during that span. So his overall seasonal stats, very misleading. He's been really good in his last 2 games. And, oh, by the way, he got wins in both of those. If you're going to play, it'd be the Pirates for me, but I'm not in a habit of laying over $2 in the MLB. I like using the run line in this situation, taking the Pirates down to -1.5, and now we're getting them at plus money. Skeens at plus money is always worth a look, in my opinion, at 6:40 Eastern tonight on Monday.
I love it, Steve. Well, we're taking a look on that one and appreciate the breakdown, Steve. Before we talk game two here, we got Mets and Dodgers. Not as huge of a favorite, but still pretty big sizable favorite as we've come to accustom here with the Dodgers. But before that, Steve, what do you have rocking? I know you mentioned we're moving out of quiet time and into one of your favorite times of the year, which is the NBA playoffs. How about on a Monday? What do you got rocking for folks over at your page, wt.buzz/SM?
Yeah, a rare day with no basketball because there are no games scheduled. College hoops was last Monday, and now the NBA is taking a day off because the play-in round starts this Tuesday. But you want to be on board the rest of the NBA season. There's different ways to do it. You, of course, can get an NBA-only package, but why sleep on baseball? Baseball is a daily moneymaker for the next several months up until the start of football, and it goes beyond that as well. All Sport All Access is still a great deal. We have the buy 3, get 3 days free. 6 days for $69, dude. Normally it's 3 days. You get 6 days for $69. Or the Summer Spectacular. Haven't talked about that yet. That just came online this weekend. That's the entire summer through August 31st. That'll actually get you some football. And it'll, of course, get you the entire NBA playoffs and also the next 3.5 months of baseball. 141 days if you start today through August 31st for $7.49. That works out to just over $5 a day, about $2 a play for every basketball and baseball best bet all summer long and even into football through August 31st. No promo codes needed. Check them out on my page. And don't forget about the daily free play. The last cut, just a bit outside for making my best bet card, goes up as a bonus free play. So go get a bonus free play for Monday night and a strong baseball best bet, which is up there right now. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com, and get there quicker, wt.buzz/SM.
All right, Steve, let's talk this Mets and Dodgers game because sure, the Mets probably needed a little change of scenery after basically getting booed out of Citi Field after what they did this weekend against the A's. Unfortunately for them, their palate cleanser on this 6-game road trip gets to begin with the Dodgers and Shohei Ohtani. So, hey, let's have some fun here, Mets. Is this the bounce back spot you think they need? Or is this, hey, if you're playing you're laying kind of situation with the Dodgers here at home, how are you looking to attack this one, Steve?
Yeah, it's one of those rare opportunities where you actually don't need the run line with the Dodgers at home. Normally, to get that price reasonable, we got to lay the run and a half, but they're only about $1.55, $1.60 home favorite here, and they're actually getting a plus 120 on the run line, minus 1.5. But I'm going to look at the total, actually, in this battle of two lefties on the mound, a pair of southpaws. Weird things are going to happen in LA tonight with two southpaws on the mound. I do think there'll be some runs. On the surface, I'm not in a hurry normally to back an offensive team like the Mets, as you mentioned, that are in terrible current form. They've scored 2 runs or less in 4 of their last 5 games. They've been shut out in 2 of their last 3 games against the mighty A's at home. I think that the change of scenery comes at the right time. Cross-country trip, no rest. I actually look for a reverse of momentum. So, yes, they're on a 5-game losing streak. I'm not looking to catch that falling knife, but I do think the offense will pick up tonight, and both teams can put the ball in play in this one with 2 very mediocre pitchers on the mound. David Peterson so far this year for the Mets in 3 starts, a no decision, 2 losses, a 6.1 ERA. He's been one of the worst pitchers in baseball. He has only 14 strikeouts in 14 innings pitched. Wroblewski also for the Dodgers. I don't expect much from him. He made 1 start at Toronto as an emotional start, returned to where the World Series was. He did pitch well at Toronto a week ago on Monday. But I think he regresses a little bit here tonight. 2 starters I think the offenses can get to, and it's a fairly low total because, first of all, it's an LA home game. We usually see modest totals here. And also, as I mentioned earlier, because the Mets are not hitting the ball well offensively. So the total's at 8.5. We get that key number of 9 working in our favor. Whenever I see an 8.5, I'm always kind of looking for a reason to play overs because 7 and 9s are the key number. Because if you think about it, games are less likely to land on even numbers because of extra innings. 3-3 has to get to 7. 4-4 has to get to 9. So over 8.5 has some value here. If you are worried about the Mets' ice-cold offense, you could just play a team total Dodgers over 4.5. So either the game over 8.5 or the team total Dodgers over 4.5, I think, are both good ways to attack this late-night special Monday at 10 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, and Steve, if you're one of the people that believe in, hitting lineups, backing up their pitchers, the last time that Wroblewski was on the mound, 14 runs. They scored 2 touchdowns, converted the extra points. So if you're a believer in the team backing up maybe a more sheepish type pitcher, last time when they were facing off against the Blue Jays, and that was on the road, 14 runs across. So they would have cashed the over by themselves.
It makes sense. Like, I've never used that much as a handicapping factor, but
the guy,
But the guy I always think of, if you guys recall, remember DeGrom when he was in his heyday with the Mets, how bad his offensive support was like 5-6 years ago. And that's what first got me thinking about it. And if you really do kind of get into the heads of the players, if you know your ace, and it might not work as well this way, but I think if you know if your ace is on the mound, it's kind of like overlooking an opponent when you're going to be a 30-point favorite, right? You're like, we're a $3 favorite today. And so I always thought maybe there was a little something to the guys not hitting the ball like when the best pitcher in the league was on the mound. But, Dan, the other reverse would work as well. When you have a weaker pitcher on the mound like tonight, the offense probably knows they need to show up. So it's an interesting theory that I used to overlook. I 10% use it now, I guess you could say.
Yeah, no, and honestly, it's a good talking point. It's not something that I would, put it all in on, but I completely agree. When you're trying to find that extra, find the extra little edge. That's it. That's exactly it. And guys, that game doesn't go until 10:10 Eastern time is when first pitch is scheduled. So plenty of time for that line to settle in. I am seeing some 9s out there now.
So, you're starting to see some? Are we getting juiced to the over?
Yeah. You're right. Not awful. You're seeing some -114s, everything like that. So I think you got plenty of time to get to this 8.5. But as things settle in, and then people on the West Coast start waking up and saying, "Oh, wait, this matchup doesn't really make sense," probably a grab the over sooner rather than later. And this is one, Steve, that I think you kind of nailed it. Maybe attack some team totals in this one too.
Yeah, the other thing I'll say is the one book, as I look at Odds Logic right now, that's sitting at a 9. It's 9 under 30 over plus 10. It is one of the sharpest offshore books in the world. So that tells you maybe there's a little bit of a lean towards the over as well from the sharper books in the industry.
Yeah, absolutely, Steve. Whether you're on giving us picks or breaking things down, man, we always learn something from you. So we appreciate it. Steve, I'll see you in less than an hour. Let's get these NBA postseason videos started. Thanks for coming
Don't say playoffs. We'll get sued.
I got your back, man. Thanks again, Steve. Best of luck, brother. Yep, have a good one. You can check it out, wt.buzz/SM. He's got a free play loaded now. And if you're subscribed, folks, you're going to see once his NBA postseason video goes live here. He's doing every single game there. So some good stuff there out of Steve. So there we go, Andy. You're muted, my friend.
Let's take a look here. Someone asked about UFC, so I can take a look at
hit
UFC. Yeah, so we can take a look at some so this one is in Canada, and it absolutely looks like there's some setup fights for some of these Canadian fighters. So I have not done my article. I have not done I haven't done my research yet, but I can just give you some of my thoughts because we did look at them on the live show. So some of the Canadian fighters that they obviously are trying to set up. Jamie Lynn Horth has a pretty good matchup against JJ Aldridge. Melissa Croden. Actually, Melissa Croden's got a pretty tough one. They brought back the corpse of Tanner Bozer. He's Canadian, except he's probably going to lose. I can't believe that guy's back. They brought in Dennis Bazookia to get his ass kicked again. Jasmine Jasudavicius is a Canadian favorite. She's got a great matchup.
And a great name.
Yeah, Jasmine Jasudavicius is one of the better names.
That's strong.
Yeah. There's a guy fighting. His name's Mandel Nalo. He's Canadian. He's a little bit older, but he was on Contender Series, and he got way better. He used to not be very good, and then he comes on Contender Series and looks fantastic. So he's making his debut. I would be careful about betting against him. And then the main event, Mike Malott over Gilbert Burns. Yeah, this is a pretty good setup for Mike Malott, I would think. So. Yeah, we had a good weekend. So this is a really gettable, bettable card. I believe there's going to be some really good spots. Don't be surprised if there's a 5% play for us in that one. So let's do all around the world. Actually, let's give away the free 3-pass because I believe he's here.
Oh yeah. We got it. We got him live in the chat with us. Well, congratulations, Eddie. This is now 3 straight. When you have gone head to head, you have cashed in 3 straight times. And today, Rob Christensen, thanks for
Let's go, Rob.
Thanks for always commenting. We appreciate you. Andy got you. He laid the 18 with the Heat. It was no problem. So boom, Rob. What Rob did, folks, was he watched WagerTalk Today. And after the show was done, when we told him about it, he commented Andy, or the losers, they commented Teddy, and they included their WagerTalk username. Boom, they were entered in for a free 3-day flex pass. We randomized all the names that qualified, and then boom, we picked one of them to win there. Rob, you were the winner, so congrats on your WagerTalk page. 3-day flex pass added now for the capper of your choice. as we mentioned, Andy, this is a good week to use it on Andy because we are going to have some daily action rolling through.
Yeah, we've got a couple of baseball bets that are up, and like I said, that tennis play is going to start about 5 a.m. So get that thing locked and loaded. Rob says DFS. Yes, DFS was really good once again.
It was crazy.
I did not our picks for clients for the Masters they were not good. Them watering the greens really tripped me up. I thought
crazy.
A lot of guys would struggle and they just didn't. So really tripped me up. So we're going to extend the 7 days of golf another 7 days. So if you got the Masters pack, you're going to get this week's tournament. This week's tournament's really good. It's an elevated event. So it's a loaded field. A lot of the same guys on the leaderboard are going to be playing. I doubt Rory plays this week, but we'll see. So, Masters. I was really underwhelmed, Dan. I did not think it was an entertaining tournament. Them watering the greens
wasn't much intrigue. Yeah.
No, it started with the par 3 contest where they have Kevin Hart out there goofing around. They have Jason Kelsey, who has nothing to do with golf. They had the Miz in studio. I was like, what are we doing here, guys? But then I'm always the one saying we need to get more people to watch golf. Well, you got to do stuff like that. So I kind of walked that back. They had, the par 3 contest, all the golfers have their kids out there and the kids are running around and hitting shots and playing in the bunkers. And Wyndham Clark was quoted as saying the par 3 contest is the best form of birth control. And he is quickly becoming the villain that golf needs. He's such a prick. And he's kind of winning me over with some of his contests. But yeah, so the first day played hard and then it turns out they watered all the greens. And the theory is ESPN wanted to have the oohs and ahs on birdies. And I mean, there were chip in eagles. There were hole out from the bunker. We had a hole in one. And it was not intriguing to me. I can watch that every week. But
I agree.
When it's a major, make it hard. It's like one of the hardest courses in the world. And somehow they figured out a way to make it easy. And then the thing about Rory coming out and saying that he was practicing, like he didn't play the previous 3 weeks because he was.
They got to do something about that. Right.
I mean other guys can do it.
They could have done
it. By the way, I sent out a couple tweets about the Masters, and oh my God, I know we won engagement, but my God, what a cesspool Twitter is.
Oh yeah, no, everyone has got to take, especially on the Masters. And Andy, is someone who, the golf exposure that I get, I do, I record the cut line with you and Jan every week. So I'm a passive observer, but for these big majors, everybody watches the Masters, right? It's an event. And for me, it was the same way as like, oh, okay, Cam Young, he's going to make a push here. And then he played himself right out of it. Like there really was no intrigue, so to speak. There really wasn't much, big pops. There weren't many big wows. So for me, fine event, it was whatever, but did it feel like the Masters to me this time around? I was kind of bored. Not gonna lie.
I did not enjoy watching. It wasn't entertaining to me. Yeah. So I mean, I give Rory credit. If you're gonna have that option, I mean, he just went all in.
Take advantage of it.
I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win at Augusta, and he got the best tee times on Thursday and Friday, built a lead, and just held on. So, but
and some of the other golfers are saying. Yeah, and some of the other golfers are saying, it was interesting the way that they decided to time the waterings to how the conditions were. But at the end of the day, Andy, what I sent to you, Rory has now won 2 Masters in the time that the New York Jets have had their last interception. So the New York Jets have not had an interception since Rory McIlroy has won 2 Masters. That's all you need to know.
That's amazing. That is a fantastic
my favorite stat of the weekend.
It's a fantastic stat. We also now have another unbreakable sports record. Shane Lowry has 2 holes in one at Augusta. Come on,
the walking ace.
He's got 2.
Ace.
Really, really, really incredible stuff. So tomorrow we'll talk a lot more about NBA, but let's get to a couple of free picks here. We're all around the world, and then we'll get out of here. You guys already touched on this one in the chat, and I believe Steve said it too, but David Peterson over 2.5 earned runs. I'll just give you this is the number 1 hitting team. They're hitting 290. Peterson just got shelled his last 2 starts, gave up 10 earned runs in 9.1 innings. He had a really good start to start off the year, but the last 2, he's just been terrible. And that was against the Giants and the Diamondbacks. And don't forget about hockey props. Brandon Hagel over 2.5 shots on goal. His shot attempts are through the roof. He's averaging 10 shots, 10 in his last 5 games, and that's translated to 5, 3, 5, 5, and 4 shots on goal. And Detroit, 16th allowing shots on goal, and kind of struggling right now. So David Peterson over 2.5 earned runs, Brandon Hagel over 2.5 shots on goal. Yeah. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for us. Hit the like button. Dan's getting ready to record with Steve. I'm getting ready to record Prop Line. We're going to go over our same game parlay of the day, as well as our free play. Free plays on that show are 16-5 in the last since we started tracking. And this one is a client play. I'll go into it a little bit more in depth. But appreciate you guys watching. Again, we've got a 4% tennis bet that is open. I think we're going to be heavy in tennis, and I'm pretty sure we're going to have a pretty big UFC play. Dan's probably going to have some lacrosse throughout the week. So buy 3 days, get 3 free. We're humming along. So Dan's dream lacrosse season continues. We had a really nice UFC week, and tennis plays are on a 12-4 run when we're focusing on the doubles market. So you want to partner up, we can help build your bankroll in some of these markets. It's a beautiful time of year to do that. Go over to wt.buzz/AO where you get my plays, Dan's plays, Jim and Jan's all wrapped up into one. So appreciate you guys tuning in. We're going to be back tomorrow, probably NBA heavy. So thank you, Eric.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a great show. Appreciate all the guests. Like button, leave us a comment. Tell us what one of your best bets is today. Good luck on your plays, and we'll see everyone tomorrow. Take care.